现在我们应该 we should continue. Okay. So I think what we could do is we could read together some of the quotes from the students here. And then we'll take a look at the second column about loneliness. And then we'll have you write down some things and we'll see where we can go. Okay. So looking at the second column. So second column is here on the right. If we look at, well, a student from Banqiao who turns herself, quote, actually not very interested in literature, in English. I hope this is on. I think it is. Sounds a bit upbeat. What is upbeat? In a good mood. Up, not down. Beat means her 她的情绪是相当高. She's upbeat. 蛮乐观. Okay. I do not prefer to write literature exams, but I still learn something by it. For example, it improves my writing technique. About fairness, she opines. Opine means she has the opinion. Every time I spend lots of time preparing for a literature exam, my grades are not bad. I am satisfied. Still, I hope professors focus on attendance and assignments. That's better than exams. A classmate adds, so if I have another student who is saying something a little similar to the earlier student, I might use that word 他家这句话, 他家这样的观念, she adds. Yeah, I think exams are fair. Sometimes, so she wrote that down. Now I know it's a she because, wait a minute, do I say that here? Let me see. No, I don't know that. Well, I may have known it, but I didn't tell the readers. Okay, because I asked them to write down male or female on their paper. Another says, not sure about fair. Sometimes I am just not good at writing, so it's unfair to me then. Okay. So then you see other opinions the students offer all through the rest of the column. Let's go to the fourth column, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4 columns over. A student from Xinzhuang. Do you see the X-I-N, Xinzhuang? Can we read this together? Let's read it together. 1, 2, 3. A student from Xinzhuang comments, exams force me to remember something that I am not interested in. To pass, I have to study. Afterwards, I forget almost everything. Oh, that's discouraging. But I remember as a student, yeah, I kind of felt the same. But at least I know where to go to remember that literature. Okay. Let's keep reading for a moment. One student, 1, 2, 3. One student distinguishes between reading and thinking. If professors want to make students read, exams are useful. Exams are a useful forcing way. If they want students to think more and give various points of view, exams are totally not useful. Now that interests me. That suggests that students feel on an exam the teacher only wants one kind of interpretation or one kind of opinion about the literature. The students saying if they want students to give or to think more and give various points of view, exams are totally not useful. Well, I really wonder about that. Is that what students think? They have to give an answer that their teacher will agree with. Because if that's what's going on, we've got a bit of a problem. We have to talk about what that means. Of course, in literature, certain things are true. Certain things do happen in the content of a work of literature. The plot, the characters are more or less a certain way. They say certain things, they act in certain ways, with their behavior. What we think about their behavior, how we interpret it, if we really do the reading, we should be able to offer a reasonable description of that. But if students or readers don't do the reading, and then say some certain things in interpreting the story, they may be wrong. So I suggest that this means more communication is necessary with the professor about what the meaning of this literature may be. If students feel they are offering an interpretation and then they get a low grade because the professor does not agree with them, if that's what the students think, well then why isn't he or she, the professor, agreeing? What's the problem here? Obviously, the teacher and the students need more communication here. Okay. I think maybe that's enough. At the very end of the column, I thank people for being in the survey. The last paragraph, I regret that space limits do not allow me to include more of my students' words. I am grateful for their contribution. Clearly, there is much here for us to ponder and to do something about. To ponder, of course, means that you how do you say, emotion. I'll meditate on this. We should be 思考。有很多事情在这里，我们应该多一点思考。对。But 思考跟做事情是不一样。解决一个问题不是思考。We should ponder. We should 思考. But in addition to that, there are things maybe we teachers of literature we need to do more of to be better teachers of literature. Okay, so this gives you an idea of what one column is like, okay? And again, I don't do too many of those 调查, about sometimes one every semester or one a year, something like that. Okay, now the other column I gave you a copy of is entitled Don't Despair, Loneliness is Part of Life. Now, I give 1 or 2 titles, sometimes 3 titles, to every column. So when I send the column in, tonight I'll be doing that. I'm sure I can finish tonight because the draft looks not too bad now. Another hour of work I can finish, send it in. I will probably have 2 titles, maybe 3. And then the editors decide which title they like. Or they may throw all the titles away and use their own title. I allow them to do that. I do not allow them, they're not allowed to change any of my writing in the column. But sometimes editors have better ideas for column titles than I do. But I do give them something to think about. You see, other columns appear. On page 4 here, you have another couple columns in the middle, absence of a nuclear deal with dum-dum. And then down below, Greece and its creditors hobble on. Okay? Now imagine if I accidentally use a colorful word like hobble, or absence is a pretty strong word, okay? If I use one of those words in my title, that takes away somehow a little bit of the power of the word for another writer. And they don't know what titles I'm using either. So editors, in the end, do make some small changes, some big changes sometimes, with those titles. Don't despair. Loneliness is part of life. 你不要失望，或是你不要沮丧. Don't be down in your worry. Don't be down in your feelings. 每一个人有一点寂寞，寂寞是生命的一部分，这很自然，这样的感觉。So my title is actually from the I gave it that, I think, that column, and it comes from the column itself. Okay. Now, you see something here that we do not see in the other column I gave you. You see that box in the middle? I don't know what that's called. It must be, I'm sure there's a special journalistic word for that. I am feeling these days that yes, loneliness is worse than contemplation. Does loneliness have to be such a big problem, however? Isn't it a natural part of life? Well, where do those words come from? They come from the column. I did not put them in the middle of the column. I put them somewhere in the column. The editors liked the words, and the editors wanted to space their paging on page 4 in a certain way. So it was the editors who made that decision on page 4 to take those words and to use dark print, bold print, and to put them in the middle of the column. But certainly their choice will draw a reader's attention. I can't be that lucky every week. They do it sometimes, they don't do it real often, but whenever they do it, I feel pretty happy about that because it stands out in the print, you know. So you can see here, they do it, this was last Sunday, they do it for this column down below. They have this highlight, okay? So the basic idea is this. There was a diaocha, not by me, but a scientific diaocha with over 1,000 people in Taiwan about 4 months ago. And it was about using the Wang Lu, about using the internet, and feelings of loneliness. Okay? I'm aware of the time. We have about 35 more minutes. So as I talk, you can keep remembering, I will give you time in another 10 minutes or so. I will stop talking. And I will ask you, do you want to write down questions? Do you have opinions about the neighborhood here of these two columns? So you could look forward to writing something down if you'd like. You can even write now if you want. But I will keep talking. Okay, so to explain the background here of this column. There was a diaocha by a group, professional group in Taiwan, of over 1,000 people about using the Wang Lu, and then after that, feelings of loneliness. And quite a number of people who are older, my age, 65 and older, say that they feel they are alone so much, and it's painful for them. Now, when I read about that diaocha in the newspaper, that really attracted my attention. I thought, gee, I'm 66, 67 coming up, and I don't feel that lonely. I feel a normal loneliness, but I think all people feel lonely sometimes. So it did concern me that people my age in Taiwan who use the internet apparently have a higher possibility, a greater possibility of suffering real pain from loneliness. That to me is important, and I wanted to think about it and share it with my readers. Now you're going to see that I do talk about something that Yo-Yi Jump is the word we use in English is depression. D-E-P-R-E-S-S-I-O-N. So you may know that word, depression. D-E-D, and then P-R-E-S-S-I-O-N, depression, all right? Now I use this jihui, I take advantage of the column. I talk about how to use the word depression. 这个字我们写英文或是讲英文，我们不应该很随便用。忧郁症不是一个开玩笑，忧郁症是一种疾病，你知道吗？ People who suffer from depression, they need a doctor. Depression normally takes a while. It's 3 weeks, it's 4 weeks, it's 5 or 6 weeks, or 5 months, 6 months long. Could even be longer. Depression means a person probably can't sleep very well, probably cannot eat very well, doesn't feel hungry, doesn't want to do anything. Maybe doesn't want to go outside, doesn't want to make any phone calls, doesn't want to be with people. That's what Yo-Yi Jung is. So I tell readers, please, don't use the word depression in English，除非你的意思是这么严重，你不应该很随随便便的用这个词。你的意思，如果你要说我不快乐 ，I'm not very happy today，为什么？那个天气不好，或是我忘记带我的衣衫啊，很麻烦。You don't say I'm depressed. I'll be depressed. Can you still eat your meals? Can you sleep tonight? You want to avoid people? No. I'm okay. I'm just mad at myself because I forgot my ishan. Okay. Don't say I'm depressed. Say, oh, I'm kind of sad today, or it's kind of mafan for me today. It's troublesome. Use the right word. I'm unhappy. Be quite love. You know? Or if we're looking at a situation, 你下个礼拜有一个，或是下个月有一个很大的考试，你有一点悲观，你怕你考得不好。You're a little pessimistic. 你不会很乐观。But you're not, you may already jump. You're not depressed about it. So I do talk in the column for readers about the word depressed in English to help them understand how to use it. And I also make a difference between 有健康的有一些寂寞的那个感觉 and 不健康。If it's 不健康, the loneliness, it may lean a little toward 忧郁症。但是健康的 I mean 我不应该说健康，但是普遍的应该是很正常的，正常的。Normal loneliness is 正常的。We all have it. In this room with 17 or 18 of you today, maybe 4 of you or 5 of you feel a little lonely in a special way. But after tomorrow or the next day, you probably will change. You'll be out with your friends for a movie, or you'll enjoy your music, or you won't be feeling so lonely. See, that's a normal kind of loneliness. So I do make it 我辨别 depression 是什么样的英文的意思 and 寂寞这样的感觉有正常的，也有一些疾病不正常的，应该辨别才对。OK。